on our prompt of the day, students engagement, improving students engagement via online best practices. Okay, the rationale for choosing this prompt. If you see our classroom is a dynamic environment, bringing together students with various abilities and personalities. Being an effective teacher with various abilities and personalities, it requires the implementation of creative and innovative teaching strategies in order to meet students' individual needs. Whether we have been teaching 2 months or 20 years, it can be difficult to know which teaching strategy will work best with our students. As a teacher, there is no one-size-fits-all solution, right? So here is a range of effective teaching practices from our two presenters today that can be used to inspire our classroom practice. I am Miss J.D. Kumutini Jagabalan and let our presenters to introduce themselves. Puan Khalifah Mastura.
Okay, thank you, Madam Kumu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Okay, as introduced by Madam Kumu just now, my name is Khalifah Mastura Binti Khalid, and of course, we are from College Matrikulasi Kejuruteraan Kedah. And okay, I've been teaching in KMKK for nearly 10 years. Okay, and very happy to be with everyone today. So hope you enjoy our session. Stay tuned and stay until the end of the session. Thank you.
Puan Rodia binti Dali.
Thank you, Ms. Kumu. Thank you, Puan Mas. And I'm Puan Rodia, same, my colleague from College Matrikulasi Kejuruteraan Kedah. Happy to meet all of you. Actually, this morning we are more on like a sharing sessions. So please be with us until the end of these sessions, and nice meeting and hearing from you later. Thank you so much.
Okay, if you see, in this current era of teaching, PAK 21, era of PAK 21, we need these best practices. First of all, what is best practices? Puan Khalifah Mastura.
Okay. All right. So we go back to our topic of the day. All right. As mentioned earlier, the topic is improving students' engagement via online BP. All right. So before we started our session just now, I kept getting messages from friends asking what is actually BP. All right. So you just keep quiet for a while, inviting everyone to be here in our session. Then I'll explain. All right. So actually BP stands for best practices. Okay. Did I answer your questions? All right. So BP is best practices. Okay. And then, okay, now to answer what Madam Kumu has asked just now, what is best practices? So I just want to give a very simple definition. Best practices is something that we created. We educators, we are talking about educators, right? We are educators. All right. So we are talking in general. BP, best practices. Our focus is our student. Our focus is our student, of course. And then we want to do something the best we could. Okay. So, all right. The definition, the dictionary definition, I'll just read to you. Okay. Is an industry-wide agreement that standardizes the most efficient and effective ways to accomplish a desired outcome. So of course, as teachers, as educators, we plan something, we plan the best for our students, okay? And then if we are in an organization, of course, we want to minimize the problems, okay? Enhance the outcome that we plan to have, all right? And here, I would like to relate to the topic, which is students' engagement. Okay, and then later maybe I'll talk about student engagement. Thank you.
Yeah, Kak Mas said. what you have mentioned here is best practices are instructional approaches based. It could be in modeling type, demonstration, it could be mentoring, whatever that we are doing to cater the students' need could be the best practices. Okay, this is what Mas said to us. And the other one, the most important thing that we can say that quite challenging for any teacher is getting our students engaged. Getting our students engaged in our classroom practices, especially in L2 environment. If you see, today's students are multitasked and can hardly maintain a long concentration because many of them are digital native and they are not really like to be trapped in a classroom for their learning processes. Hence, they can get easily bored and therefore disconnected most of the time. And that's where these best practices are required from us, isn't it? How do you fight off this problem, Rodia?
Thank you, Ms. Kumu. To me,
When we talk about engagement, actually we teachers will know our students better.
we know when we are teaching, we can look at their expressions, we know whether they are listening to us or whether they are out from the space. So here, to get their attention is very important. So since now the students are all digital native in nature, so what we should do is we make them responsible for their own lesson study. So we make them involved in the lesson itself. It's not just the teachers or the lecturers are preparing the lesson for them, but it's them together with us are preparing the teaching itself. For example, we get them involved in our lesson. Okay, we can ask for their suggestions. How do we go about this? How you want me to teach this? Or do you have any ideas? How can we go about this teaching in a better way or that you prefer? So to me, to make them engage is not just to make them actively participated in our lesson itself, but make them plan the lesson together with us. This is what I think is the most important thing that I've done with my students.
Yes, Kak Rodia, yeah, I can see your point. You're trying to say that we give the students the authority to decide what they want and we go accordingly to cater them. Yes, it's very powerful thing. We come to these modern classrooms now. And then, like as you said, we may make a lot of activities um, depending on the student's interest also. Yeah, this is what Kak Rodia trying to say to us. And Kak Mas, if you see, people always categorize teaching as modern and traditional. In your point of view, what is modern way of teaching?
Okay, right. Thank you, Kumu. All right. So your question is, what is the difference
Other
between?
way,
Again, sorry, Kumu, I was not listening just now.
the teaching,
Yeah.
it's always categorized into two, modern and
Yes.
traditional, right?
Okay.
So in your point of view, how do you see this modern way of teaching?
Okay, a very good question. I like the questions. Okay, now we are in 21st century and we're focusing on the 21st century learning, yeah? And then we are going to IR 4.0. Okay, so this is considered as the modern teaching and learning, right? And then those days we use chalk and talk method. Yeah, chalk and talk method, right? The most that we used was just PowerPoint. Okay, but what do you call that? Lucky also we can say that we are in this MCO, this what do you call MCO situation because it without realizing it, we actually are forced to be better educators. Okay, no more face-to-face. What do you call that? No more face-to-face classrooms, right? We go to online digital learning, okay? And those who are not so techno savvy also, now they have to become a little bit of techno savvy, okay? So as for me, this is what we call a modern teaching and learning. We have, you don't like it, or whether you like it or you don't like it, you are forced to do it, all right? You have to learn digital thingy, okay? And you have to learn from your friends, all right? We are having now Meets, Google Meets, Zoom, what else? Google Classroom and things like that. So as for me, this is part of the modernization that we need to embrace. Okay. Yeah, Pedro Kuno?
Can I add a bit to
Yeah.
Puan Ma?
Yeah, I feel that in a modern way of teaching, the approach. Hello, can you hear me? Technical error, can't hear. Wait, this is the mic, right? Hello, hello, can you hear me? Okay. Hello, yeah, sorry about the technical thing. Okay, I just want to add a bit to what Padmas mentioned just now. No doubt in the modern ways of teaching, we do incorporated the modern technologies and tools to our students. But the most important thing that for me, like, if we as teachers are, we make sure that in the modern way of teaching is make the students more, the tasks that we are creating should be more activity based or project based. We use questions, so that the students are more engaged. And the same thing that the four C's, in the 21st century that we should be developing among our students are like critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communications. So we blend together with the digital tools that we are using in our modern way of teaching. So that will be a best way for us to get the students engaged in whatever lesson that we are going to prepare for them. That's how I believe. That just a share with the others. Okay, thank you so much, Miss Kumu.
Thank you.
Bedaku, can I just part in a bit? Yes, I do agree with what Parodia has said just now. We are blending everything, all the modern tools, yeah, the one that we have never heard before, now is something very normal for us already. Yeah, and inshallah, viewers, after this we will be sharing our best practices that we have been practicing in our college among ourselves, right, with our students and even the viewers outside, with 250 or less people here, inshallah. Thank you.
Puan Mas, Puan Rodia, I could see that you are talking on online practices, flip learning, blended, fine. But if you see in our classrooms, not all students are equal in their comprehensive power, right? So we cannot expect all of them are able to fulfill what you are aiming for them, right? So students learn in different ways. Some students are slow learners and others may be quick learners, isn't it? Some could be kinesthetic, others are auditory or visual. How do you think your best practices, or how do you do your best to tend to every kind of learner you might have in your class? Uh,
Uh,
Just
to
answer you.
Miss Kumu, I think the best way for me that I normally do with my students is to have group work, where the good learners, they will help the weaker students. And by doing group work, it encourages the weaker students to do their work. Sometimes students who are weak, they are not able to do their task well. So by having a group work, so the good students can lead and help the weaker students to complete the task given. And I always believe in collaborative teaching. So the students will work collaboratively and the end product will be marvelous, which I'll share later in our sessions. Thank you, Ms. Kumu.
Puan Rodia, you are talking about that collaborative learning and all. So fine, that's good. That's good because that is one of the requirement stated in 4C, right? So many language learners, even though you are saying that you are adopting a lot of practices in your classroom, okay, but still these language learners go through a silent period during which they will speak very little, right? Very little. So in that situation, how do you bring your collaborative task alive? Or how you make this collaborative task a success?
Okay, thank you, Ms. Kumu. I think it goes straight to the point. I'll just discuss, I'll share with you how I come up with this method in order to make sure that the students, we can assess the students' collaborations in the given task. So what we did is, sorry, hold on, share the PowerPoint. Okay, so we come up with this method, we call it as CRR. That is collaborate, reflect, and report. So it's clearly stated, they collaborate, they reflect, and report. So what did they do during these sessions? So here you can see here, what we are trying to do here is that to develop the ability to become effective learners in conversation and collaborative learning. Taken 1H, and then to be a part of the community. Here, being a part of the community means in the group. So everybody playing their role. We don't want a sleeping partner. When we always give group work, and sometimes we neglected. We thought that, oh, they have completed a marvelous job in that group. But then we didn't realize there are a few lots there who are not paying, who are not contributing or very little contributions. And this give dissatisfactions among some of the group members. So in order to do so, I've tried it out with our community service project. So in matriculations, we have this community service project for the SAM2 students. So here, what I did is I've divided them into groups, okay? And then they discuss among themselves, and then they come up with what are the community project that they want to do, okay? And then here, the general objective is given here. It's just to instill the interest in collaborative writing tasks and so on, evaluate effectively the students' collaborations. I'll go short to the method, how I do it. Okay, what we do here is first, we ask the students to read. In order to come up with some the project, they have to read out what are the things that they're going to do. So after they have read, they will share the information in their group. So if there are 4 students in that group, so they will share the information among themselves. After that, they have to transfer the information into infographics. Why infographics? Because it'll be easier for them to look out for the main ideas later on they're going to discuss in the group. And then how do they share all this? You can share all this using Google Doc or Telegram or even Padlet Wall. And how do I did that? What I do is I do self-evaluation checklist. So this thing I've given to the students. So what I do here is everybody will be given this checklist. Okay, for example, evaluation criteria. Do I sign in the Google Doc? And do I involved in the team selections? Okay, if I'm involved, how many times did I share the articles? For example, if I read, how many times, how many articles, that I've shared? If the student said I've shared 5, okay, we convert it into 5%. So like 5 times 0.125. So we convert it into the percentage. Later on, we're going to give them the total marks. And then paraphrase. They have read the articles and then we check whether they take the whole articles by itself or they paraphrase it or they make a short notes and they share it in the group. So all this, we have to have a look at it. Not just we have a look at it, they have the checklist. They themselves will put a tick to the checklist. So they know, oh, have I done enough? Have I done this? Have I contribute in this sense? Okay. So you clearly see from the sample that I gave here, how do we mark their contribution? Okay. Then see, this is what we do. Okay. We get the students, get the leader. Okay. Then leader get the Gmail ID. Okay. We demonstrate how to use Google Drive. I think for Google Drive, we don't have to demonstrate. For some of the students, they know how to use it. It's just in case there are students who are not familiar with this, we can just demonstrate, and how to use the online document with Google Doc. And then after that, for the preparation, we explain to them how the collaboration is going to be. Then we expose to them to the collaboration checklist. We have to give them the checklist. So at least the students know what they should do and what their contributions play a role in their marks. It's not a group marks. For example, if we are given the group 15 marks, not everybody in the group will be getting 15 because it will be unfair. So by looking at this, we can be fair enough to the students by giving them accordingly to their contributions. I hope it's clear. And then this is how we start off. If they choose a title, they read up, and then they discuss the problems among their group and so on. They come up with the infographics. Okay, these are the samples from the Google Drive. Okay, how the students shared. Okay, shared their articles and then their discussions in the group discussions. Okay, this is in group. So they have this Google Drive according to their group. And then we can see, I'm in the group, so I can see the progress together with the students. Go on. Okay. There you can see here, they stated the date like 26 February 2019. Okay, this Haikal, what is this Haikal doing? Okay, I found the common impact of social media to the teenagers. They are talking about this. Okay, so when they're talking about this, so they share with the group. Okay, and then the other students. Okay, they share the link on the 27th February. So what is this Izaros doing? I'm looking for apps they can use for making infographics. And what is this Taufik is doing? So here, these are the samples shown that everybody is playing active role. If not, if you can't see all this, what we're going to see here is the end product, which is unfair to all the students, especially those who are not playing their role. Now, these are the infographics shared by them after they have read. They shared the infographics also in the Padlet wall. It can be in the Padlet wall, in the Telegram channel. It's up to us how we're going to do it. So it depends on how you find it easy for you. So I've used it in Padlet. I've used it in my Telegram channel. So these are some of the samples used, okay? And then we can also look at here the students' comments, okay? They share their comments in the Telegram channel. Okay, they've read the articles, you know, which they want to do the project, whatever project it could be. It can be a forum, it can be the community service, whatever. Just now I mentioned community service, so they can talk about their project or the community service discussed in the Telegram group. If they don't want to discuss in the Telegram group, they can also discuss, like I gave to the sample just now, in the Google Doc, okay? Hold on, because technical matter.
So Puan Rodia, wonderful. So I can see that now collaborative tasks are, we can actually evaluate collaborative tasks fairly. Usually for collaboration, we award a very low marks, could be 5%, could be 10%, but some students, without contributing anything, they can claim the scores because the other group members would have completed the task. But we don't really see into it seriously. But for students or the group members, it is an issue. Now you try to give us a way to evaluate their collaboration effectively. I like that idea. Kak Rod, because at pre-university level now, we have to give a lot of collaborative tasks to our pre-university students. And we only see the end product, which means it could be an assignment. It could be the product they have made at the end of the project. But we don't really see the process of working. How do they collaborate? Because collaborative tasks the focus should be on their collaboration. So by using Google Docs, you are evaluating their collaboration based on their contribution. It could be, as you said, that it could be their articles published in Google Docs or their infographics and etc. That is so interesting. It would be. It's really. I can say that. Yeah. It is one of the best practices.
I just want to add to it. If
You don't use
Google Doc, you can ask them to write a journal, a group journal. So it's the same thing. So it's just a form of journal. But here, if we are using Google Doc, they can share with us, so we can see their progress. If they are not progressing, so I can just say, hello, how come you're very quiet? There's no contribution yet. So far, how is your progress? So this is how I control the progress. If not, they'll be procrastinating, and towards the end only they'll be doing their work. So the work done, it won't be good. Okay, so that's the reason why I find that by using this, it really helped me to really evaluate my students' performance and contribution.
So the objective drawn for the task as well as for the collaboration achieved through this CRR technique.
And the best part
Is
is
I noticed that the students came and told me, because before that there are students who are not happy. A few of them said, teacher, she's not contributing or he's not contributing. But after I did this, what I'm happy about is they never complain. They came and they're very pleased with what they get. And you can see the weaker students are also trying because they don't want to fail. And they know that somehow or other they have to read something and they have to share something. So that is the beauty part of it. We are actually not penalizing. I'm not that keen on saying penalizing the students. It's more like encouraging them. We know they are lazy ones, who are slow learners and so on. But by doing this, we are encouraging. When they see their friends are doing and sharing, they can't just be sleeping. So end up they start looking for one. And they don't, if they have problems to understand the text that they're sharing, they can share with their friends, and then their friends can help them out in the understanding of the text. Okay, that's how I find now. So you can, either way, I even use Telegram group or Padlet wall to do the same method, but in the different tools. So that's all. Thank you.
Your explanation is lengthy and very clear. When we were to do collaborative writing and we have steps. So when we go on the steps, we can really make the students to collaborate. And let's listen from Puan Khalifa Mastura. How she go with this collaborative or cooperative learning with her students.
Okay, right. Okay, so now it's my turn to share. Right, so we're talking about collaborative teaching and learning. Okay, and as for this, to answer this question, okay, I'll share with you one of my best practices. Okay, now let's look at the. Okay, is it displayed? The block. Right. Is it displayed? Okay, all right. Okay, hold on, yeah. Okay, I'm going to share something on the blog. Okay, because I have been using this blog with my student. How can I get this? It's not there. Okay, now let's go to the screen first. Okay. All right. Actually, I'm inviting you to my blog as well. Let's view. Okay, let's view my blog. Okay. Okay. So this is the name of my blog. Okay. Okay. It's not there.
Just stop presenting.
Huh? Stop presenting.
Chat.
Yeah, the presentation button there.
Okay.
Pose.
Can you all see this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Can you see my block?
No.
No. All right.
Try using H as well. Tutup Chrome ni dulu.
Okay.
So ni. That one.
Okay. Does it appear?
So Chrome ni tutup.
Oh.
Ni tutup. Angka yang.
Okay.
Okay, so everything guna H juga.
Okay. Is it there? Yes. Okay. All right. So yeah. Okay.
No, not
My
yet.
God. Not yet. Okay. We are trying to get something on now. It's supposed to be there.
Okay. Kat sini present. Ya, ni. Present now. Yes. Kalau window ke entire screen boleh. Entire screen pun senang, window boleh. Ni boleh.
Alright.
Okay. This one.
Just bear with me.
Klik ni. Okay, so boleh buka window.
Okay. Is it does it appear on the screen? The block?
No,
Not yet.
not yet.
Not yet. Okay, so we need to do something about this. Okay, maybe my partner can help me with this. And as for that,
It appear now.
so, yeah, apparently. All right, thank you so much. Okay, Alhamdulillah. All right, so you can see here, I'm at my entry on January 28, 2020. Okay, so a little bit of explanation on how I use Block in my teaching and learning. Okay, all right. Actually, this is focusing on the writing part. Yeah, this is focusing on the writing part. Okay. When we receive students early part of the semester, we really have a lot of so-called lots of problems, okay? Because when we talk about English, everybody was like scared off. Yeah, when they talk about English, the second language. Okay, so I tried so many things, so many ways to encourage them to write, to speak, yeah? And for this time, I'm focusing on writing. Okay, so I got this idea for them to write in my blog. How do I do this? Okay, this one is like, what do you call that? Blended learning and flipped learning as well. Okay, so the scenario will be like this, yeah? We have 3 hours per week for English. Yeah, 3 hours per week for English. And then, for example, if I have a class on Monday, on Sunday night, okay, I will give them an entry. I will post an entry like this, yeah, like this on my blog. All right, entry 5 listening activities. Okay, and then once they are used to my way of teaching, they know already. Before the class start tomorrow morning, that night I will post something in the blog. Yeah, and then they'll do the reading. They know because what they need to do tomorrow, okay, will be asked or will be stated in the blog that night. Okay, so they are trained to be like that already. Meaning that whatever plan for tomorrow, they have something in mind already. It's like pre-knowledge to them. So they will have to find some material, some information, okay, which they can print or they can just share in the Telegram groups. All right, and then when we are in our class for that particular session, okay, the teaching and learning goes as usual, right? And then we have some sort of like activities or project, mini project, okay, in that 1 hour session. 10 minutes before the class ends, okay, they will have to do their self-reflection. All right, self-reflection. All right, so this self-reflection actually to help me and to help them as well, because they need to write something. So like this one, okay, we do the listening activities. So I've given them some tasks to do, and these are the instructions and flows of the activities. Listen to the audio of part 1, 2, and 3. Jot the summary of every part and blah blah blah. Okay, and I don't plan to take a lot of time on this. And if you want to see or watch whatever activities that I've done with the students, you can always browse my my blog. Okay, I'll share the link later. Okay, and then like I said just now, 10 minutes before the class end, they will have to write their reflections. That one is not on the reflection parts. Okay, for this one, to answer the activities, the student will write here. Okay, at the comment section. All right, let's see what they have written. All right. Okay, so part 1 in audio. Part 1, it was a radio program. The character that involved in this audio is Lion Parker and so on and so forth. And then they took part 2 and part 3 and so on and so forth. So this one is Abu. Yeah, I asked them to write their names so that I know who actually responded. Okay, I don't want anonymous, because if they put anonymous, they did not put their names, so I can't award them with any marks. All right, this is not an official mark. Yeah, this is not an official mark. Okay, but I will always give them prizes for those active participations. Yeah, those who really improve with their writing. Okay, so you can see here, and believe me or not, yeah, when I started doing this, they can only write around 2 or 3 sentences. Okay, 2 or 3 sentences. But now we can see that they have really improved, and that makes me happy as an educator. All right, they really improve, and then we cannot say that every student are good in English, because this one is a second language. They are really scared to write. But my tagline is Belasa aja. Okay, the tagline is Belasa aja. All right, so they know that, okay, when it comes to Madam Mas, I will say Belasa aja, because I don't want any excuses saying that, okay, Madam, takutlah nak tulis, we are so scared, we don't have confidence, because we are writing for the global viewers. Okay, everybody will read our sentences, our paragraph. That scares them off, actually. Yeah, but I said Belasa aja, because in the first place, yeah, of course, they are really, really scared, but then they accumulate the confidence level. That makes me happy. All right, and then when they are, some of them are very scared. So before, these students are very smart students. They do not want to humiliate themselves. So before they post or they publish whatever they need to write, they will ask their friends, okay, could you please check my question, my sentences before I post it, before I publish it. All right, so this one is so-called a collaborative session as well. Yeah, in a way they collaborate in producing their sentences. All right, very short sentences or even a short paragraph, that really makes me happy already as an educator. That's why I'm sharing it here. I call this as my best practices, one of my best practices, okay? And then you can see also, all right, when we talk about the writing part, okay? Now, let's look at something on listening. Okay, sorry, yeah. On, sorry, not listening, but on speaking. Okay, so this one I touch a bit, maybe Puan Rodia later will touch on the community service. This is actually our community service, which we have been doing with the students for quite a number of years. Okay, and then you can see that the title is entry for the CSP video competition. Yeah, CSP stands for Community Service Project Video Competition. Okay, this is not a must. Okay, maybe our friend from matriculation will say, why are you doing this? Because this is not listed in the syllabus. Yes, this is not listed in the syllabus, but I go beyond that. I want them to be happy. All right, I want them to be happy. Because when they come up with their video of what they have presented, what they have collaboratively done to come up with the project, okay, so they turn it into videos and they present it. And of course, when they in the middle of presenting or in the middle of coming up with the videos, they what do you call that? They use all the skills, right? The reading skill, the listening skill, the speaking skills, and the writing skill as well, because they need to write reports. Yeah, and then when we talk about the video competition, I always publish this in the Google Classroom and also in my page, Facebook page. Yeah, in the Google Classroom, it's sort of like a competition. All right. So the most likes, the most comments, and the most shared. Okay, I have four classes, all right, and more or less like 16 groups of CSP. Okay, so they keep on encouraging each other to get more likes, more shares, and more comments. Okay, so all right, I think that's for now. The one that I shared in my blog. Okay, so we'll talk more on other best practices. Thank you.
Thank you, Mas. Just a little bit, just to add on.
Okay,
Thank you, Mas. Can you hear me?
Okay,
Just to add on what Mas has mentioned now, he has shared it with the blog. Actually, we also have competition
in the
college level. So what we normally do is select the best two videos and we present it. Students will present it live during the the community service project presentation. So we have done it last year and it was a success. And we have